Um, I just want to make sure that we've got people waiting for us. Hmm. Let's see if you're all. Let me get a link for this other one, and then I'll. Um, all right. I think we're good. All right, everybody. Can you all hear me? I'm hoping that you can hear my voice and that the sound is okay. Oh, Shell, you got your kid? I'm so excited that it arrived. Hi, Para. Welcome, welcome. It's good to see you. I can only hear and you can hear and see me. Good, good, good. Okay, what a crazy. I don't know what happened with our other feed that I had scheduled, but I think we should be good. Hi, Carrie. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Just curious, you guys, try to find a time that works for everybody. This works well for me, but we've got people from all over, all over, which is so exciting. And one quick thing that I will mention while we get started, we have begun something really exciting, and we just launched a new community. It's called Craft and Connect, and it's on the school platform, and I'll put a link in the description box. But I think it's really, I'm super excited about it. Now, I've been scrapbooking for years and years and years, and one of the things that I really enjoyed about scrapbooking when I first started was visiting a local store. I had a store that I visited. I knew the owners, and I knew like lots of people that shopped there. Initially, I took classes, and I taught some classes there, and I would go and attend crops on the weekends with my friends. And they had like bigger events throughout the year that were super fun to get involved with. And so this was in Portland. And then when we moved from Portland to Seattle in 2002, there really wasn't a place that I felt at home at. And so after a lot of thought, I decided to open my own store, which we did in 2006. It was called Hip to Be Square. And I loved it. I loved being able to connect with people in my community, with everybody who walked through the door. I loved showing people new things and creating all of the just those personal relationships with people. And we hosted crops every weekend, and it was just, I made a lot of really good friends through that experience. And during that same time, I was we began the Hip Kit Club, and I was running that and doing the store, and I had kids and busy life. And in order to find a little bit more work-life balance, we decided to close our store and focus on our Hip Kit Club. And so we have been going strong now for, let's see, 2006. It is now 2025, almost 19 years. So we've been in this industry for a very long time. And over time, I've noticed that there's something that's been missing ever since we moved to that online, shopping online and connecting on social media and all of these things. It's just not the same. And there's a lot of distractions, and people share their projects and they don't get seen by anybody because of all of the tricky algorithms and all of the content that people put out there. You get kind of fed in between cat videos and funny baby videos and memes and all that kind of stuff. And so if you're lucky enough to hit the feeds of the people that actually want to see your stuff, you're very fortunate. And there's just very little opportunity to, you remember? Aw, I love that, Brandy. So there, all of the things that we loved that brought us together to begin scrapbooking many years ago, we've kind of lost those things. And I think that as a scrapbooking community and a crafting community, we can do a lot better. So this was the inspiration for me to open our Craft and Connect community, and it is exactly that. It is your creative home to visit, spend time, connect with other people in an intentional way, and connect with others that are passionate about crafting and understand the importance of being able to connect with other individuals and the importance of having a creative outlet. If your friends don't, you're signing up right now? Awesome. If your friends don't get it, and it's hard to explain needing to have that ability to create, and the need for creating to kind of feed your soul. If people aren't creative or they don't have that interest, they just don't get it. So I think it's a really great opportunity to be able to really join together as a big creative family and share our ideas and learn from one another and connect with one another. This platform is set up to do all of the things. Everything is really well organized, and you can find what you're looking for. And when you share a project, it's going to be seen by people, and they're going to spend time looking at it. And you're going to develop personal relationships between people so that you can, these will show in the way that you interact with one another. So I'm super excited about it. And if you haven't had a chance to check it out, I'll put a link below when this is over, and you can check it out. We've got, I'll be sharing tutorials and mini classes and all kinds of things. And we've got like a book recommendation chat that's going on, and just all kinds of stuff. So, and everybody can get together and share. So it's not just me, it's you and everybody else. So I'm so happy that you guys are enjoying it. That makes me very happy. And I think that for me, this is something that I've been needing for a very long time. I feel like I'm Oz behind the screen, and You know, nobody gets to know me, and I don't get to know you guys on a more personal level. So this is very excited, and I'm excited to get kind of off the social media, what is it, rabbit or hamster wheel, I guess, because I really don't think that it works for what we do. So that's what's happening here. So today I'm really excited to be with you to work on the projects that were included on your project sheet that came with your May hip kits. So for those of you that received your May hip kits, you should have received a project sheet here. If for some reason you didn't receive it or you've misplaced it, it's available on our website. And I believe that there's a link in the description box where you can download it and print it, or download it and save it to your iPad or whatever, so you can refer to it as we create our pages. If in fact you haven't received or don't receive our hip kits, you can still use these layout ideas and you can kind of scrap lift them. You can choose whatever products you want to use, and you can recreate these ideas using whatever products you have on hand. So this is not solely a hip kit thing. Obviously you can recreate these pages exactly how they're shown here if you do have your kits, and it's a great way to be able to, we do it to help you sit down and carve out time to create using the kits you receive each month rather than stacking them up. So this will help get you jump started. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the camera in just a second, but one thing I do want to mention is it's gonna be so fun. We just launched this a week ago, and we've already got so many people that are involved, and it's really fun. I've gotten to know so many things about so many people, and you know, we've shared all kinds of stuff. So it's nice to be able, there's a little get started post that's pinned there, and it has a couple of little screen share videos that'll show you how everything's set up and organized. And then there's a second video that you can watch that's also a screen share that shows you how to create your posts. So those things are really helpful. And then you can also to that add a little intro to that thread, and it's a great way for everyone to kind of get to know each other. It's kind of that go-to where everybody will get started, and then you can branch off from there. So all right, so without further ado, let's get to this, because we've got 3 layouts. I'm glad you like it. That makes me feel so good. Really, it does. So with our May layouts, I have added cutting templates for the tag layout that we're doing, because you have to cut the paper just right so that you have all the pieces that you need for all of the pages. I designed these digitally, and so I had to tweak. Anyway, there's 3 different sheets that you're going to cut from, and there's templates showing you what to cut from where. So yeah, so here you go. And I have a great trick for you too. I saw this on either Instagram or YouTube or something like that earlier today, and I'm like, that is brilliant. So I'm going to show you something as we get started. So I'm going to flip my camera, and hopefully I'm going to do it in a way that doesn't cause too much grief. But should be, it should be okay. Am I going to be upside down? That is the, oh my gosh. I think that's the smoothest that this has ever happened. What I did, I do not know, but hey, it's working. Oh, you see my socks? My feet are always cold, and I have these to put on my feet, and I didn't do it. Plus, I hate being barefoot in my house. I don't know what it is about that, but it's a thing. All right, let's see. I'm gonna try and zoom in a little bit. I've gotten some new equipment, actually, and I'm going to learn how to use it this week so that next time we stream, we are going to have a very seamless experience. Let's see how that works. I know you can see the reflections. Maybe we need to I just want to make sure that I'm not too, that's perfect. All right, so I should be able to I have this thing with this mat that I like things to be straight, which is silly, I know, but it's a thing. All right, so oh, okay, since this is front camera, everything is gonna be, it's gonna be fine. Actually, it's probably not, because everything is gonna be backwards. Hang on one quick second, and I am going to actually, let me try and figure out how to flip. Oh, okay. So now I think if I just do this, it should be okay. Ah, brilliant. All right, so now nothing's backwards. And I'm just going to make sure that everything is straight. All right, so here is our project sheet, and I'm gonna make sure that this is how, when I have my mat set up in the right spot, it just helps make sure that I stay in frame when I'm, all right. Well, I don't know. Let's see. Okay, we're good. So this is our project sheet, and if you have yours on hand, I think I've got a little thing, I've got a little button that I'm gonna be able to use next time that will allow me to Zoom without having to mess with my phone. So, all right. So this is our project sheet, and the front side of it shows all of the products that you need for each, to create each one of the layouts. Now, when I designed this initially, I made a little bit of a mistake because this paper that I'm showing here, you find it, because I have, let's see. Okay, so this paper that I'm showing here, actually on the B side is a cut apart sheet, and we're using this cut apart sheet for this layout. So I made some changes as to what you're cutting, and all of these things are included on the cutting templates here. So you will cut some tags from this this pink and white polka dot. You will cut the center out of this lace border, and then you'll cut some tags out of this remaining, this piece that you cut out of, or the circle that you cut out of the center of this. And then there is another paper that we are going to cut front and back. We're going to cut this entire sheet up, and we're going to use almost all of it, but we're going to use so much of it that it needs to be cut in a very specific way. So this one is the template that you need to pay attention to, and it is linked in the description box, and you can also find this on our website with our May kits. So if you scroll down, you'll find the project sheet there, and you can open that up and download it and print it if you want to, or just refer to it. So but with this, I'm going to show you something super cool. One of the things that we need to do with this is we need to gut the center of it, because we are going to use the outside border of this paper as a border for one of our other layouts, but the inside we'll use to cut those tags apart. And all of the details for that is you'll find in the description box under homework. So I made a few notes of things that you needed to do to prepare to scrap along with me, because if we do all of this live, it's going to take for a lot longer, and nobody is going to want to sit through that. So so anyway, let me show you this little trick with your paper trimmer and binder clips. Everybody has these. These are just little, small, little binder clips. And what it does is, so there are these little guys. And what it does is, and this depends on your trimmer, but this Fisker trimmer has like little ridges in this part of the blade guide, so you can attach these, and these will make the blade stop at a certain point. So I want to have a 1-inch border all the way around on the edge of this paper. So what I'm going to do, well, first of all, actually use a different trimmer just to cut the branding strip off this because I don't want to mess with all of it. I have so many trimmers, but to be honest, my favorite is my guillotine, but it doesn't do all the things. So but this is super cool, and you can use this is great if you ever want to do make any kind of frame. You can use this little trick. So here on my trimmer, I want to have I want to have a 1-inch border all the way around. So there's a little mark on the trimmer blade, and you can, I'm lining this up on this side with the 1-inch mark, and then I'm taking my clip and I'm attaching it to this edge. So it's going to make the blade stop at 1 inch. So you don't need to do this. You can eyeball it, but this makes it so fast. You're gonna be amazed. So then we're gonna do it over here. I want this to be on the 11-inch mark. I'm gonna add this trimmer blade or this little mini clip here, and then we are going to cut this out. So here we go. I am going to line my paper up on my trimmer with the 1-inch mark here. Put my blade down, and I'll go across and then turn it. Align this again at 1 inch. Take my trimmer, 1 inch again. How brilliant is this? I think it's the best thing ever. Because I'm always trying to, you know, eyeball it and line things up, and it never quite works exactly right. But this, voila! How easy was that? And there's no like, you don't have to mess with it and turn your blade and your trimmer and hope that you're going to get it right. It's absolutely perfect. So I hope you find that helpful. So that's my helpful tip for today. So we are going to start with layout number 1, and this one is our tag layout. And the way that these project sheets are set up, they're set up so that you can visually see how to assemble your page. We start with all of the big things in this first step. So you add all of your bigger items, your larger paper layers, larger tags, photos, and that kind of thing. And then you move on, and this second step, you add some of your larger embellishments. And then the third step is adding all the smaller things to finish your page off. So it makes it really easy to be able to follow along using your project sheet as you create your page. So I am going to grab a sheet of white cardstock, but I need to trim the branding strip off. And for me, this is just the easiest way to get it totally shaped. I've had this trimmer, I kid you not, for like 15 years. Never replace the blade. It cuts perfectly straight, and it's as ugly as all get up, but it works. Okay. So here I have, get this lighting just a little bit better. And nope, nothing. I'm just fixing my lighting just a little bit to make it just a little brighter, I think. Hopefully that helps a little bit. All right. So here we have our white cardstock, and these, we need our white cardstock, and we need a, what size photo did we use on this one? We need a 3.5 by 3.5 inch photo. And where did I put that? I thought I had it in here. All right. I might have to cut a new one. I'm going to cut a little placeholder. I'm using placeholders for my photos, and until I can figure out, I've had issues with my photo printer and I haven't had the time to resolve them yet. So I am cutting a 3.5 by 3.5 inch square, and this is going to be my photo. And okay, so what we're going to do is, I went through and I used my cutting template, and I cut all of my tags, and I used one of the fabric tags, I believe. Let's see, where are they? I used one of the fabric tags as my guide as to how to cut the edges. So I just lined up the top and the left and the top and the right, and I just traced the edge and cut them, and then I used my crocodile to cut a hole in the center of each of these. If you choose not to do tags and you want to just have rectangles, you can totally do that. It's entirely up to you. So here are all of the pieces that I cut out, and we're going to start by assembling the our page. And this is the first part we need to do. Now I'm just going to add some adhesive in the very center of each tag, because I need to be able to tuck things underneath. So let's see, I'm gonna put these aside. And I numbered mine ahead of time because I didn't want to mess with what size I was using, but I can tell you as we go along. Actually, I probably didn't need to do it that way. If I was going to number them, I should have kept them in order, right? Okay. So this one is going to, I'm going to start with the outer edges, and this is going to make make everything a little easier to piece together, so you get your spacing right. So you'll just want to, let's see, I just want to make sure that so there, and then I have another pink one, which is going to go here. All right. Next, let's start adding in number 2 of each one. So this one, let me just tell you, where's my ruler? Because I'll give you the dimensions so that you know. This one is 2.5 by 2.5, and we're gonna stick it right here. Oops. Just kind of make sure you get it straight. And like I said, we'll be able to adjust these. I'm going to glue them down better once I know that everything is situated. And then this one is, actually I can tell you by my little guy here. This is 2.5 by 3.25. And that's the next one. So we're going to add that here. And then the next one is going to be this one is 2.5 by 2.75. That one here. And then these are 2.5 by 2.5. So it doesn't matter how you put them in. And I didn't cut a tag on these because they are going to be covered on both of the ends. So, all right, so there's that. So we got our first line done. Now let's move on to line number 2. We are going to do this guy, and he is 2.5 by 2.5, and we're just going to slip him underneath. And if you look at the, if you look here at your project sheet, you'll notice that all 4 corners with the pink dots, these are all on top, so everything is kind of tucked underneath those. So that's why I decided to start there. It just makes it a lot easier to get things lined up properly. So then we're going to do, let's see. This next one, and this one is 2.5 by 3.25. And we'll tuck him here. And I have pencil marks on these, and I'm going to erase them once I get everything kind of layered properly. And then we'll do a this one is, I believe, 2.5. This one is 2.75 by 2.5. And then we'll take one of these and This gets tucked in here. I'm just going to put adhesive behind this guy. And then we've got another one, and this one is, we had one that was a little bit smaller, 2.5 by 2.5. 2.5 by 2.5. I thought I had one that was 2.25, but could be wrong. All right. So then we're gonna stick him right here. And if you notice on your project sheet, I kind of had the little notch on the tag line up with, I guess it would help if I put an adhesive on it, with the edge of the pink tag. So, and then we want this guy. And he is 3 1/4 or 2.5 by 3 1/4. And then this guy is 2.5 by 2.5. And then we've got our little blue ones. And these kind of, oh, cat party. For those of you that know me, I have lots of cats. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so next we'll go and add this guy. Oops. Did I not put adhesive there? I did, but it didn't stick. And then we'll add this guy here. And then this guy here. And then we'll put this guy under. So now I want to go in and I think my spacing is pretty good and I'm happy with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little, make sure that this is, I want to add a little liquid glue behind each one, and it is just going to do a better job holding them in place. I might not do it with these multicolored ones because I might add adhesive or like a foam adhesive to these, but these two on the bottom, they're going to have things layered over the tops of them. So I'm going to go ahead and add some liquid adhesive here. And the pink ones, I'm not going to add liquid adhesive under either because I think I'll add some dimensional adhesive behind those. Let's get going. So for those of you that have cats, how many of you have your cats visit you every single time you're doing something that they could care less until they're not invited. And then the minute they're not invited, they're all in your business. Okay. So this one I'm not going to. Behind the blue one. And this just kind of allows you to get that edge nice and clean. Multicolored ones. I'm going to leave. There they are. Put these here. This guy's going to stay. And this just gives you the foundation of your page, and then it makes everything easier to layer. Put these others, so let's see, everything's nice and tucked in. So now I'm going to take some double-sided tape, and I'm using double-sided tape today just for the sake of time. I usually use like a craft foam as my adhesive, but it would be a good thing if I could figure out what I did with my scissors. All right, well, they're around here somewhere, but so I'm going to add some craft foam behind these guys. So I'm going to put it over here and here, and then this will just create that little bit of shadow that makes your page just look a little more interesting. And then this guy, I put adhesive behind. I didn't want to. All right. So now on this guy, do the same thing. Add a little bit of foam adhesive. And near that. Behind this one. Add some foam adhesive behind this guy. Down. Some adhesive behind this guy, behind this guy. But you see how this just adds just this little bit of shadow? It really makes things your layers kind of pop a little bit if you do that. You don't have to. A lot of people don't like having dimension in their albums because they can fit more pages. But I am one that adores dimension, and you'll see me use it all the time. So this guy and this guy, I'll put a bit of dimension on these two. So how has your summer been? We live in Washington State, and our summer has been really, really weird. Usually we have like a lot of warm weather. To be honest, we've had kind of a lot of cloudy days this summer, which is kind of odd for us. And then here we are getting ready to close out summer. It's the end of August, and this week we've had 90-degree weather, which if you're from Washington and you're used to like the 70s when it hits 90 here, it's no fun. We hate it. And we just don't know what to do with ourselves. And a lot of people in Washington or in the Seattle area don't have air conditioning because typically we don't get a ton of super hot weather. So when it gets hot, it's miserable. And this weekend has been very hot. Usually if we have like one hot day, it's not as bad, but when you have multiple hot days in a row, your house doesn't get a chance to cool down, and then it's hard to sleep and all of the things. So and for those of you that live in warm climates, Arizona, that kind of thing, you guys are strong individuals. Okay, so here we go. We've got all of the tags in place. And I'm not going to do this, but you could erase these little letters. I love these little mechanical pencils. I don't know what kind of lead they use, but the eraser works so well that you can't tell that there were pencil marks. Sometimes, you know, you'll add a little pencil mark and you'll be able to see the shadow of it. And for some reason, these do not. They are the Papermate mechanical pencils. And just clean up these edges also. Just the blue ones. All right, clean those up. All right, so there we are. Super cute. So now we're going to start adding our embellishments. Have I frozen? Is it just my computer? Have I lost you guys? Okay. Am I moving? Because the screen looks frozen to me. Huh? I'm moving? Okay. All right. It's just my laptop, so. All right, so now we've got all of our bits and pieces put together. So now let's start layering our embellishments. And so the things we want to pull for that are, set this aside. Let's pull these aside, and we're going to need the little dress form, this little tag. We're going to need this journaling card, and this is part of that cut apart sheet. We need this little scallop piece and this little envelope. And we're going to layer these bits and pieces here on our page. So let's take a look here. So we'll start, and I'm putting this upside down because I wanted this pink detail with the notebook edge at the bottom. So, because this part isn't going to matter. So I want that there. And then I'm going to put this little envelope. I'm going to kind of layer that over the edge here. And then this guy will kind of layer here. And then we'll add our little floral frame over here. And so this frame is going to cover up that little floral on that journaling piece. But we've got the flowers here, and this is the part that we want to show. Okay, so I am going to start by putting some dimensional adhesive behind this journaling piece, because I want to have a little bit of a shadow. So I'll put that there, and I want to have this sit, let's see, I want this to be about right there. And these are going to kind of line up. So I want this here. Okay, so I'm going to put that there. Then I'm going to add some foam adhesive to the edge, outside edge of this frame, because there's foam adhesive here. Actually, add another little piece so that this doesn't collapse when I put something else underneath it or on top of it. And then we'll put a little bit of foam adhesive here, and we're gonna layer this about right here. Okay, so there's that. And then, got stuck. And then I'm going to put some foam adhesive here. this is going to line up with the bottom of this. And I don't want it to, I want it to overlap just slightly because I don't want a gap there. But I don't want to crowd where my photo is going to go either. And in fact, I'm going to add another little bit of foam adhesive on this side as well. All right, there. So that sits right. And then I want this to be and I want this to sit about here. Curious as to how many of you guys enjoy thrifting. My kids, my daughters do it all the time. My mom used to take them to look for treasures when they were little because my mom was like a collector of like antiques, dishes, and vintage linens and all kinds of things. And so she used to take them when they were little, and when we would go visit, and they would look for special things. Okay, so there's that. I put 2 layers of foam adhesive under this. And to be honest, I want a little more of this dress. Where did it go? I want a little more of the skirt to be able to stand up. So I'm gonna add a little, there we go, that's better. Okay, so now we need to, the only other thing we need to add is, and usually when I do this, I only want to use what's actually going to show. So I'm going to trim this down so I have, you know, if I wanted to add a detail to a tag or something like that, I have a little bit of this scallop left over. So I'm going to do this and add this to the bottom here. And honestly, ah. Okay, so there we go. That. Now we'll add our photo. So this is my 3.5 by 3.5 inch photo, and I believe that if I lift this, okay, so I'm going to add some more foam adhesive behind my photo. This to kind of offset here. got a nice little shadow. I think I need just a little more behind here so that there's a layer underneath that journaling card, and so I need this to be able to stand up just a little bit more. There we go, that's better. Okay, so there we've got all of the big things done. Next, we need to add our smaller embellishments, which are this little lamp, a butterfly, a little tab, a couple of photo corners, and then a couple of foam little titles. And they're so pretty. They've got like a, I don't know if you can see it's got a matte gold accent on them. They're really pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna add some foam adhesive behind these little photo corners. I can get it to fit right. So have you guys been watching any fun oh, yep, good idea. Thank you, Leisha. If you haven't already, take a moment, and if you're enjoying my video, take a moment and give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to our Hip Kit Club channel, you'll want to do that too, and click your notification bell so you get a notification every time we add something new. And we add new things all the time. Okay, so these I'm going to stick here, and then I need to add another one. I think that this is the most complicated layout because there's so many pieces, so the others will go a little more quickly. So thanks for being patient as I do all the things. How many of you are able to use, or how many of you use tweezers? I can't seem to get the hang of the tweezer thing. I try, and I just feel like I'm all thumbs with the tweezers. Okay. So there's the little photo corners. They look super cute. And then we need to add our, I told you I'm all about the foam adhesive, guys. Need to add my little lamp. I'm going to put my title first because I want this to kind of sit here, and then my lamp I'm going to have sit on top of my title. Nice little open space here. cute is that? I just think it's so cute. Dang, so cute. All right. And then we need to put some just liquid glue here. And this guy is going to tuck in right at the top. And what this does, if you look, I've got in this little embellishment cluster, you've heard of the rule of threes. I've got pop of yellow here, pop of yellow here, and I have a pop of yellow on this side. And then we're gonna add this guy, but I'm gonna put a little bit of foam behind him on this one edge because right, and then I have a little butterfly, and I always like to kind of give my butterflies a little dimension, so I bend and kind of curve them a little bit, and then I add just a little bit of foam right along the center here. It's too long. Bob and I just finished watching Mad Men this weekend. Any of you watched that? I loved it. It was so good. Okay, so there's the little butterfly. And then the last thing is, hello Nuds. I'll introduce you guys to all of my cats one day. And this says vintage style. Just a little bit. Vintage style makes my heart happy. And there we go. Voila. Easy peasy. So if you just gather your things ahead of time and have it ready to assemble, and you could even, if you wanted to, you could do some stitching around some of the tags that are flat. So, like this guy he's missing some dimension behind him. All right, there we go. And then there's just this little, you know what, I'm gonna wait because these are not scissors to cut big bare things with, but here you go. You see all of the details, a little embellishment cluster. So fun. All right, so there's layout one. I'm at an hour and a half. Okay, we are gonna, so let's start with layout two. And these are gonna be a lot quicker. Layout two is using our cutout frame and a sheet of cardstock that I have cut down to 11 by 11. So it's going to leave a half-inch border all the way around. And actually, just going to add a little bit of adhesive in about 3 different places, because after I finish this page, I'm going to go ahead and add some machine stitching, or maybe I'll hand stitch it. I haven't decided yet, but I don't want a bunch of tape runner all over it because that gums up my needle on my sewing machine, and I don't like that. Okay, so I'm trying to get this somewhat straight. Of course, if you don't have enough adhesive, nothing sticks. So. It's good enough. All right. Hopefully, just gonna make sure that it's at least glued down in the corners so it doesn't move, because that's annoying. Okay, so there we've got our border. And this is the page that we're going to be creating. And grab our things. So we need a 3 1/4 or 3x4 photo, which I have here, and actually maybe if I have this here, you guys can see and refer to what we're doing as I go along, or somewhat anyway. There's not enough space for that, probably not, but yeah. Okay, so I need to put some foam adhesive behind my photo, and I'm just going to do one little strip along the center, and I can add more later. And I'm not taking the backing off yet until I know where he's going to sit. So the first thing we need to do is we need to find, I've pulled all of the die cuts that I need for this page out. And so to start with, we need our pink tag, and we're using it in 2 different spots. So I've cut it. I needed to cut it. I might have messed up, but we'll see. Either way, nothing has to be perfect. Then this is a journaling cut apart. We need this little guy that says notes, and that is from the ephemera. And then we need this little tag, and that's from the tag die cuts. And then this guy, and that's from the cut apart sheet. And then I think there's one more larger die cut that we needed, and I believe might. So looks like, oh no, organize my life. Get in here. Okay, well, I lost something, and just make it up. Sorry guys, give me 1 second while I can see. All right. Oh. Somehow I didn't cut this out. Or I did and I misplaced it. Who knows what I did. But I need this guy right here. And you know what's going to happen. I'm going to find it. It'll be sitting right in front of me. And that's how that goes. All right. So, okay friends, it's right here, right in front of me. Shouldn't be left alone. Should be left to my own devices. Okay. And then the other thing that we need for this part is this little film strip die cut. And on the project sheet you'll see, but it tells you to cut it on a diagonal because we're going to use it in 2 different places because I want some black on the upper part and the lower part, and it just allows your eye to follow across the page. It just kind of creates that path with having that little bit of contrast. So yes, siree. Okay, so the reason why I used this twice, no I didn't, yes I did. So I think that in order to make this doable for everybody, I'll use this guy. So we'll use this one on top, so we can't use it twice, obviously, and that'll work just fine. So that is part of my problem. Okay, so now we want to kind of lay this out before we glue anything down. So I'm going to make a little mark, and I find this to be a little kind of helpful when I am doing a page that's that has a vertical design, because it helps knowing where the center of your page is. And so I'm just going to use my T-square ruler so that I can draw a little line. And I'm doing it super light, but this way I kind of know where the center of my page is being built upon, because everything is kind of, the photo in this page sits right in the center of the page. So we want to make sure that we're kind of, we've got our bearings straight as we start assembling this. So we're going to layer we're going to put all of our big pieces. So this piece here is part of your cut apart sheet. This piece I've substituted, and it is one of, is it one of it? Yes, this is part of the cut apart sheet, so I'm gonna put those kind of offset there a little bit. And then this piece, I'll have some here. So I want this to kind of, so I love layers. And yeah, so I love having layers on my pages. I think it makes it interesting. It adds, even if the colors are very similar, just the very subtle designs on each one of these, they look different and they just add just that subtle detail to your page. So we'll do that, and then we are going to add this little piece of this tag. And you know what? I guarantee you that I cut this a little bit short, and I'm going to show you what to do if you ever have this happen, because I don't need. Okay, so I cut this a little bit too trimmed it a little weird, because I need more length over here. So you can take a piece of washi tape. I've got this Post-it tape that I'm going to use. But what you do is you just take it, line it up, and put your washi tape behind. And when you flip it over, you'd never know that you made a mistake. This needs to go all the way to the edge, but there you go. See? Now it's perfect. Okay. So I am going to start by using, I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive in the centers of each one of these die cuts. And then if I decide I'm going to use a little foam behind them, I'll add that later. But we need to be able to kind of have things still be stuck in place so that they stay. But if we need to move them, they're not glued so firmly that we can't lift them up. Okay, so I'm going to kind of do that. My photo will go here. And so I want about equal, so I want here, I think I want about the same distance from the bottom of my photo to the bottom of this postcard, and from the top of my photo to the top of the other little journaling spot. So I'm going to set this there, and then this guy, I'm actually going to use my crocodile, just add that little extra detail. I'm going to punch the hole out of the tag here. And this I'm going to cut also, because I want it to show up in two different areas of my page. So I'm going to have this sit here. So I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive here and a little bit there. To be honest, I don't know if I can make this. Probably not. Yeah. All right. Well, okay. You know what I'm going to do. I'm going to tear a tiny bit off the top because I just need this to kind of hold in place just slightly. Okay. And then we're going to put this guy right here. And we want him to kind of hang off the bottom here. Okay. And then we've got this guy. And I'm going to cut the top of it off. Because who knows, maybe I'll want to use this part elsewhere because it's going to be covered up anyway. So I'll put a little bit of adhesive here, slip him there, and then we wanted him to kind of extend out, so we wanted this tag to be just a little bit longer. That's why I cut it. So I just want to have a little bit of that show up here, and I just want to make sure that it's lining up since it's supposed to be one piece. I don't pay too much attention unless I'm trying to make something look like it's one piece. Okay. Well, this guy doesn't have enough glue on him to do anything, so more. I guess I'll just eyeball it until I actually glue it down. So here's that, and then this guy. I'm gonna have okay. So this is all a little wonky, but that's okay. We just want to get the basics of our page kind of put together. So now, where did my tag go? Here he is. So we're going to set him under here, and see how this just kind of, that's why I don't glue anything down, because oftentimes I have to kind of adjust things. Alright. And then this piece. Is that. Kind of try and hold that together, or not. Okay, so then the next thing we want to do is we want to add our little film strip, and we'll do that here. So see how it looks like we didn't mess with it at all. I'm gonna cut this down a little bit because it's getting stuck under the adhesive. So I want this to kind of here. And then I'll put this one. So this guy is going to go out here. So I want it to be about there. And then this guy, I want him to kind of slide in here. And of course, it's going to go right where I glued that down. So I want this piece to be up there. So now I want the notes to stand this guy here. So we're getting there. It's just the relationship with each one of the pieces, how they sit with one another. And then I'll have, so this guy needs to drop down because a tiny bit of adhesive at the top here. Because I want this guy to kind of overlap slightly. I want him to sit somewhere right around there. And then this guy is going to kind of sit here. And I'll lift this up so that it's right up where that notes is sitting. Okay. And then I think that that's everything, but I do think that this whole little cluster right here needs to move in a little bit because it looks odd to me. So maybe here. Here. So I'm gonna put this here. Just, all right. I'm horrible at talking and creating at the same time. Okay, so there's that. All right, and then our little photo is going to want to sit right here. And then these guys it's hard when you start doing the whole thing at once, but Um, okay, so we'll put him. He needs to go about right there. And then these pieces I think I liked. The trick is that this piece that I'm using is a little bit bigger and a little bit wider than the one that I originally planned. Okay. So just move this guy just a little bit this way. Once this part gets done, makes everything a lot easier. I'm going to trim this down just slightly. So, here and here. Okay, so there's that. And then put a little bit of adhesive here. And add him just right over. Soften them together. You know what? Cut it down. These scissors. There we go. That makes it a lot easier. So I just need to add a little bit of adhesive here. And then a little part. There we go. All right. You wouldn't think that this would be this complicated, and if I weren't nitpicky, it wouldn't. Okay, so we've got all of our pieces together, and you know what? Since there are so many layers here, I don't think I'm going to add a bunch of dimensional adhesive. I'm just going to add some liquid glue, and I'm going to use my T-square ruler just to kind of attempt to get some of the pieces straight, especially since there are so many like vertical bits here. So this one also wants to be straight, so he's good. Let's add some, and I'm not going to glue these down so that I want it to look a little messy, I guess, or I want some of the edges to kind of lift up a little bit, and then that adds texture and dimension to your page. So this guy, and since this guy's so got so much contrast, I want to make sure that he's nice and straight, because your eye is kind of drawn to this piece here. And if I would grab the right glue, we would be in good shape. Okay. And you can just add a little adhesive there. And a little here. And just want these guys to put down behind. All right. Doesn't that look nice? Okay. And then try and make sure that this guy's straight too. So everything is kind of moving around a little bit. So and here. Some there. There. This guy. All this guy. Sure that he's nice and straight, and then let's see. Since this guy is so like dainty, I want to make sure that at least the corners are down, because if he gets caught on something, he's going to tear. Alrighty. And now we can remove the rest of the adhesive on our photo, and I'm assuming this guy, I guarantee you that I've eyeballed. Okay, so there we go. Now we have so here we've made the base of our page, and make sure we've got a little sure that is charging. All right. So the other thing that we need to add is one of these vellum stickers, and these can be a little tricky to get off your page, off the backing sheet. And I find that the best thing to use is a paper piercer. They're super sticky too, so. Okay, so here, don't think that I did mess up the top of that. So cut that edge off, and then I don't need the whole thing. I'm going to cut it in half because I'm going to save the rest of this for something else. Because this piece is just to extend the pink so I wanted the pink to extend out across the page. So it kind of draws your eye all the way across. So now we're going to add all the pretty things, and which is fun. It's the fun part. These vellum stickers are very dainty, and so you have to be careful with them because they will tear if you don't handle them gingerly. Okay, so we're going to add this little half of this Mandela sticker underneath our little pink tag. So I cut kind of the edge off. I'm using it in two different places. And then I also want to use it here. And so I'm going to stick it, actually, I don't want it to, so this is where it gets tricky. Because they're really sticky and they're really fragile. But I don't want to cover up that pink border sticker. Oh, dang. Okay. Well, you know what? Life isn't perfect. I'm going to stick this here. I'm torn up, but you can't even tell. All right, so I'm gonna lay that there, and then it doesn't cover up. I cut the center part out so it doesn't cover up our little border sticker we have coming up the center. Okay, so then the other thing that we're using, and we're using in 2 different places, so I think I'm going to cut these in half. So this first one, on the edge of it, and I'll use my paper piercer. Trimmed my nails last night, and so I have no. Okay, there we go. Can you find it? Now these are going to be really white, delicate, and they're super sticky, so you have to be really careful, because when you they're delicate, but I love the way they look. Oh my. I almost feel like it might be easier to remove the excess than to remove the sticker itself. First. Yes, highly recommend that. So if you remove the excess, it's going to make it a lot easier. And then all of the delicate parts of your sticker kind of stay stuck down while you, and it makes it really nice and easy to peel it up. Okay, so we're going to put this guy down here. I'm just going to kind of set him about right here. And they lay down so nice. Love these. See how pretty that is? And then we're going to use the other part of it. So I'm going to cut that off the way that I did the first one. And then, you know, you live and learn all the time while you make mistakes and you learn from them. Okay, so this one, I'm just going to lift up and remove this excess sticker. For those of you that are sticking with me tonight, appreciate it. I know that, and if you can't, I totally get it. And you can watch this video in bits and pieces because I know that it is Sunday evening and we've been going now for 2 hours and we're not quite, we're about halfway done, but I will say that the last layout is really easy. So I just like so many different things, and so I just add and add and add, and I make these layouts that are easy, but they have a lot of pieces, and so they just take a little longer. This one with my fingers. Okay, so this one I am going to put about right here. My finger is stuck to it. Okay, that's okay. So you just have to be gentle with them. But I love how they look when you put them down. Okay, so now let's add some die cuts. So first of all, I'm going to pop this guy. Actually, he's going to need to have a little bit cut out because I put adhesive right there. And I want him to be able to be layered. There. Okay, so I'm going to put some adhesive here. And set this guy right there. There's that. And then I have this cute little, these fabric labels are so cute. I love the texture and the patterns on them are so pretty. And then you've got a little like gold grommet detail, which is really nice too. So we'll add him. Here, and I want that little rose detail to show. And then we'll add this guy. Oops. See this in the center. And we'll layer him. Here. And then our little label, but I want to back this on some white cardstock so that maybe I can use a date stamp or jot something in little guess they're like a little book plate, right? So I'll be able to do that. So hopefully. How many of you have made these layouts? Yay. Shell, I'm so glad that you're following along. That is highly impressive that you're putting up with me and my indecisiveness. You know, I've been known to tear things apart over and over and over again. In fact, I've oftentimes found, or I've had many occasions where I've removed all of the layers off of my background and added them to a different one. Because either it's sitting wrong or... Okay, so this, I'll add a little adhesive to the back here. And this, actually, I don't want to glue that down until I have my mom sticker out, so let's, oops. I need to find this sticker. More pixie stickers. And it says Mom. Pretty photo of my mom sitting in her living room. And I think that that's the photo that I'm going to use on this page. I just don't have one printed. But I know exactly which photo I'll use. Okay. So this needs to sit on the edge of this. And this is how I'm going to know how much I am going to tuck behind my photo. So here, probably about right there. I think it's going to be a good resting place for that. Okay. And then it's going to bug me, so I'm going to tuck it underneath. We need to add our little bird cage here. Maybe I want, that bothers me. Okay. You know what? Because there's foam adhesive on our photo, I need to add just a little bit. Behind our birdhouse so that he can kind of this little guy who kind of go behind there. And let's see if I'm missing anything else. Now we just need to add all the little things, which we'll go ahead and do. So we need mostly puffy stickers, which we've got here. And we've got some foam label stickers, and then we have a few little black butterflies. So we'll add the black butterflies. And they're pretty. They add just this tiny little bit of contrast, and okay, so we've got those. We've got what we had. There's one little piece that I'm missing, and show you what I did with it. I'm supposed to have a little blue label, but I don't know what I did with it, so we're just going to pretend like I don't have it, and then I'll add that later when I find it. But we've also got a little, and another little piece that so this was supposed to be cut a bit, and the top was supposed to be up here, but I didn't do that, and it's glued down. So I found another little pink thing that I can add here, and I will just tuck it in, and then that just takes that, lifts that maroon up to the top of the page. I think if I had done it before I had glued this down, I would have tucked it underneath, but it's fine the way that it is. Okay, so now we need there's some little, light blue butterflies. Maybe. remove these, but this little guy I'm going to tuck right here under some little flower there, and then there is closely here. Let's see. And then this guy. Is going to stick right under our little lawn. And then I'm trying to see what else we've got on here. So we've got that, we did those. We have a little, kind of like the way that, a little bit more. So there we go, that's better. And then we've got a little camera. At the top. Let's see. A little camera. Is right. Here. And I think we have one more little guy we're adding into it. Okay. And I think we are done. Oh wait, no, there's one more. We have one more butterfly to add, and it's right here. And it is going to go right here. All right, my friends, with the exception of that label that I have no idea what I did with, I think we're good to go. So look how pretty that is. Might add some journaling right here, but I think it turned out really cute. The only thing is, there's just one thing that's bugging me, friends. It's the photo. I don't like where I placed it. It's up too high. And this is a me thing. All right, so yeah, I like that better. And this guy needs to be lifted down just a tad. All right. And All right, so layout number 2 is done. And here you can see it with all the details and the layers. I think it turned out really pretty. Hey, I'm glad you like it. Okay, so now let's move on to layout number 3. And this one's a lot more straightforward. It's your basic horizontal page, and let me grab the background. So we are using this as our background. And what we want to do, I am going to take my T-square ruler, this is like my go-to tool for everything. And I kind of want to put a little line. I don't want this to be like right in the center of the page, but this kind of gives me a visual line across my page as to where I'm going to place things. So first thing we need are our tags for our page, and we have 3 different photos. We have a 3x4 and then 2 3-inch circles that I just hand cut. A lot of times I'll use my either metal dies or I'll use my Cricut, but I just used a compass, and take it back to geometry, right? And I drew a 3-inch line and put a mark at 1.5 inches, and then I just drew around and cut it with a pair of scissors. Not perfect, but nothing has to be perfect. Okay, so we are going to lay our bigger pieces out, and what we need is this tag. We need our photo. This is one of the pieces of the cut apart. Here is one of the tags from the tag die cuts. We've got a bingo card. And we have this die cut piece, and I cut, what did I cut? We're using the edges in more than one place, so I cut the outer edges of this. So we need that. We've got our little music tag, and I think that those are starting pieces. And then this guy too. Okay. So what we need to do, I'm not going to put a bunch of foam adhesive on this one either. The one thing that I do know is that I want this tag and this tag to hit that same, I want them to be aligned across the same horizontal line on my page. So those are 2 things that I do know. So I'm going to add some adhesive here, and put one here, and then this other one over on this side, and then add a little adhesive here, some adhesive behind my photo. Photo, and this one is going to be a little higher, but I have it I have it aligned with the bottom of this tag. Okay. And then we're gonna layer the bingo card underneath. I just want a pop of yellow here. Okay. And then I'm going to trim the top of this tag. And I'm going to layer that here. And then I think I am going to trim down this because I don't need the whole thing. Save part of that for something else. And tuck in right here. And then I'm going to have a photo that's going to sit about here. And this guy is going to tuck right behind here. And then I might pull this just a little bit this way. And that. This. And then the other photo is up towards I want this to sit about right there to drop it just a tad. Okay. So those are our first layers of our page. Now let's add some other bits. I'm going to trim this down. And I'll add a little adhesive here so that it sits under here. And then I want a little blue tag. Sit about right there maybe. And then this guy, I'm only using some of it, so I'm going to cut him in half. No sense in wasting. So I'll add him and tuck him here. And then I believe I have this little border sticker that I'm going to use. And first I have to get it off the backing. I'm getting better at it. Okay, so we're going to they're so sticky. Okay, so I want maybe half an inch. I'll set. Oh, you know what? There's another little, before I get ahead of myself, we've got another little guy that is taking, behind here, and then we're going to add our little, don't do that. This guy doesn't have enough adhesive on it to hold it in place, so I'll put it. So that goes there, and then this, and this, here, and runs under here. So then it looks like it goes all the way across. So there's that guy, and then we have eventually. This guy goes here. He needs to drop down just a bit. And this guy is going to and then there's this guy. So those are all of our big pieces, although this looks, the placement of this photo looks really odd to me. It needs to be up here, and therefore these things need to be actually, yeah, that's better. Okay, that's better. All right. And so now all we have to do is add all of our little pieces, and these are one of my favorite things. These cute little binder clips. And I believe that there should be 2 of them or 3 of them. There should be 3 of them here. There's the second one. There's that guy. And then we have some puffy stickers. So this goes there. And we've got a little ink and quill, which we'll put here. And then I believe that there is a little honestly, I think I have a show a blue one there, but I think I want this black one. And then there's a little key. One. And yes. Let's see, is there something else in our this little yellow butterfly? gosh, if you haven't done this, put this on white cardstock because it gets lost when you lay it over the busy paper, but that's all right. And then let's see what else I've got for this page. This because there's a little, cutest little bow. Where did I put that? Here it is. I think that one's done. Except I thought that I had one more binder clip, but maybe not. Dang. Let's see, what do I have? I wonder if I can pick this up. Let's see. It starts to tear. I don't know. Yeah, that's not coming up. I probably will look for something to put over the top of that, but for the time being, I think it will be fine. And I think that we're good. So layout number 3 is done. This one's a lot more simple than the other. And, oh wait, there's one more thing that goes underneath, and some little I almost forgot these guys. These little glasses. I think that that's all of the things. And then what I'll do is I'm going to use some embroidery floss and I'll embroider across here, and then I'll use some of the floss and I'll add little bow or string, like kind of strings behind this one, and this one, and that will add just that a little extra texture. So we did it, ladies and gentlemen, and it only took me 3 hours. So I'm going to flip this around, and hopefully I won't make you guys too dizzy. Am I going to be in the right direction? I am. Okay, let's see. Does that work? I guess you're pretty close up on me, but okay, we did all 3 pages. we go. So we did all 3 pages, and this will give you an up-close look with better lighting. So here's, make sure that, so here's layout number, this was layout number 2, and there's all of the beautiful details. And then layout number 1 with all of the tags. So we need to pull it back a little. There we go. See, I can't get it right. I'm either too close or too far away. So this one is with all the tags, and I might add some machine stitching to this one, and when I do, I will be sure to show the finished layout with you guys. And then this was the final page that we did, and these were all done with our May hip kits, and there is a ton of product left over to make lots more pages as well. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope you guys have enjoyed yourself. I am so thankful to all of you for sticking with me tonight. I hope that you've found some inspiration and maybe make you want to dig into your main kits and get started with them. I'll be back again next Sunday. I know that it's Labor Day weekend, so I may actually switch that date. So keep an eye on our Facebook group and in our Craft and Connect community, and I will post the details for our next live. I may actually do it on Thursday evening, and we'll go ahead and do the layouts with our June kits, and then the following Sunday we'll do July, and then August shortly thereafter. So we'll get all caught up. But yeah, this summer's been crazy, and but we've had a lot of really exciting things in the works, and we'll continue to do that. I am actually dying to play with our new umbrella stamp stamp set and coordinating metal dies and our color kit. So I'll be sharing some stuff with those very, very soon. I don't think that I have them up here though. No, I don't think I do. Dang. They're super cute. So stay tuned for that. I am dying to dig into those, and as soon as I do, I'll share all the amazing things that I create with them, or at least I hope that they're going to be amazing. And I'll show you some great tricks for aligning layering stamps and using your dies and all that kind of stuff to make it easier. So stay tuned for that as well. And I just want to thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to spending time with you again this coming week and the following week, and I look forward to doing this on a regular basis, and we'll be doing more of it in our community as well. So if you haven't signed up for our community or checked it out, I'll put a link below, and head on over. We've got all kinds of things going on, and we'll have some free digital stuff that we'll be sharing and that you'll get along with your membership there. So yeah, so for those of you that are, it's late for those of you on the East Coast, so go wind down and get ready for bed, and I'm going to go eat some dinner. So I'll catch you next time. Thanks for joining me. Bye.